shaking my head in my negative Nancy feel after that Buffalo game where they don't all I can tell you is
Dolphins number one, baby!
Hands up, baby.
Dolphins
Hands
number
up.
one!
I swear, if a certain quarterback is mentioned in the comments, I got my beers ready. I'm going to crack it open.
Or is it a Serbian kid?
Serbian kid, This looks done. Oh my god, it looks fantastic.
I hate you so much. No, good beat, man. Gotta beat, man. Woo! I'm the man. I said it, and it's reality. All right, now.
congratulations.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Fins Talk today. I'm your host, Bobby Finstock, joined by the one and only Fish Tank Hank. Hank, how you doing, my
morning,
friend?
sir.
How you doing?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. You know, we, my wife and I had our third little episode on Twitter, you know, and we got over 375 people watched it. That was pretty good. So I was kind of happy about that.
Congratulations.
And we had close to 7,000 views. So that was nice. And I want to say thank you to everybody that did tune in.
That's very cool. So we started the show with the network intro. I hit that by mistake, but I said I'm just going to run with it. We'll just let it roll. I think that was Fish Tank's first time seeing it, just seeing all the cool action from all the shows.
I was like, wait a minute. That's not me.
That's not our intro.
This
Hold on
show's
a
all
minute.
about me.
It wouldn't be otherwise, right? No, my goodness. So Evan's already in the house. Everybody else tuning in, whether watching on Twitter,
What's up, Evan?
YouTube, or Facebook. Thank you all for tuning in. Smash that like and subscribe button. Again, you're watching Fins Talk today on the Fins Talk Sports Network with the Fish Tank Hank and myself. Evan going at the negative people. Bandwagon coming back on Tuesday. Michael Vogel will be in the house to do that. That's to be pretty cool. Get the bandwagon starting to go again. All right, Fish Tank. It's been it's been an eventful week, you know, in regards of Dolphins. It's never boring in Dolphin land. We know that. There's always something to talk about. And so let's start off with one of, you know, obviously we're going to touch on the Jalen Ramsey stuff. Star corner out of the Los Angeles Rams. Okay, he's going to be traded. Dolphins are listed as one of the teams. We're going to touch on that. But I want to talk about another star player in California, a certain quarterback from the University of Southern Cal, Caleb Williams. Made a little bit of headlines talking about wanting to come play when it's time. He's going to be drafted. His year is next year. He'll come out next year. One of the top quarterbacks of the draft, possibly the number one overall pick, if everything plays right next year. He says his number one destination, paraphrasing, would be the Miami Dolphins. He said, you know, with the talent they have there, he didn't mention Mike Gesicki. Gesicki's like, are you sure I'm going to be there? But Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mike McDaniel, the up-and-coming defense. Who would not want to play for the Miami Dolphins? That got some fans excited, but what got more fans jumping up and saying, whoa, wait a second, is when Tyreek Hill liked the comments. So I got to ask you this. Big deal, no big deal that Tyreek Hill liked these comments?
You know, he likes the kids' moxie. He likes the kids this. He likes the kids that. He didn't just like this kid like he's coming on the team, folks, all right? He's not coming on the team. Odds are Miami is not going to be the worst team next year. And unless they trade future years of first-round draft picks to somehow get up close to first to get him, he probably won't be on the team anyway. Fins up, Cap. So, you know, as far as all that goes, I don't think it really matters. You know what I mean, Bobby? Because I think there's a lot to like about Caleb to start with.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And And I'm sure Tyreek, as a professional, wants to, encourage his young brother, and bring him along and say, yeah, come on. But we all know in the realistic world, in the realm of all things possible, it can happen. But the odds of it actually happening are pretty slim. Just based on where our team will be placing this coming year. And after you win the Super Bowl, you usually don't get the first pick.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, no, I don't think it's a big deal at all, honestly. First off, like you said, in realistic, Dolphins aren't going to be that bad to have the number 1 overall pick. If they traded for the number 1 overall pick, or I mean, if they had to get they would have to trade for it. And do they have the assets to do it? Maybe, depending on who they give up. Tyreek Hill liking it again. I think he likes the idea that star players want to come play for the Dolphins, and they're talking about how great he is. And I think, again, it wasn't a nudge to say, it wasn't a knock on Tua to say, hey, look, I want another quarterback this year. No, because Caleb Williams is not ready till next year. I think it would have been saying to the Dolphins, hey, if next year it's the same thing, if Tua gets hurt and we're one and done, you're gonna have to make a thing. Maybe that might have been the message, but I think it was more about saying, hey, this talented young quarterback wants to play with me. I like this comment. He wants to play for the Dolphins. I think there was more of that. I am in a darkness retreat, apparently. It's storming outside, and I don't have my little nightlight. So, yes, I am pulling an Aaron Rodgers, Evan, and I'm at my little darkness retreat. Cap for life.
Yeah, you're in your dark retreat.
That's
you
right.
And Aaron.
That's right. Samuel, thank you for tuning in. And again, there was a lot of talk last night. That's why Evan's going crazy, not crazy, but going off of the comments. Tua's not going to play, bad enough that the Dolphins are going to want to draft. The only thing that would make the Dolphins want to go after another quarterback this year, if Tua is injured again, and I don't know if it's not if, it's when a lot of times, but I guess it would be when he's hurt. How much does it cost the Dolphins another game? I think that's more of it. The Tua played well enough last year to be the starter next year, unquestioned. There's no one better you could get right now for the Dolphins who would be better option than Tua, unless you go and you have the assets to get a Rodgers or something, which is not going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, looking at everything that's realistic, it's just not going to happen.
Absolutely. And I understand it's such I don't know what word that is, if it's polarizing. He's so polarizing with the fan base now, and other fans of other teams know that Dolphin fans are at a civil war with their quarterback situation and all that. But so, look, if you're rooting for Tua to fail, you're not really a fan. I believe that to be a fact. If Tua succeeds,
how do you root for your own quarterback to fail? And I have people coming at me all the time on Twitter about this crap with Tua. It's like, dude, shut up already. He's the starting quarterback, whether you like it or not.
Polarizing.
He's the starting quarterback. So,
No, that's my thing. You could say, you could point out the flaws, and there are, but during that 8-3 stretch, he showed he could hang with the big guys, that he could be with the talent around him, that he was a successful starting quarterback. Now, we know they're in that 0-5 stretch. He struggled against top 10 defenses. That happens. You could work on that. I don't know how, whether it's judo or whatever, people want to make fun of it, how that helps him in regards of getting hurt, but he gets hurt every year. That's the question mark. That's what stops him. He is a starting quarterback in this league. Is he a franchise quarterback? You won't get me to say that right now because he can't stay healthy. That's where your franchise quarterback has to be there in the big moments in the big games, and he hasn't done that. So next year, that's the next question mark, Fish Tank. Do you think I'm being fair in saying that?
Next year, it's all answered.
Absolutely.
To be honest with you, all questions will be answered what they're going to do with Tua, and in 2024, they'll be deciding whether or not they're going after a new quarterback.
Since we're talking Tua, let's jump from 1 to 3 for a second, okay? ESPN insider Marcel Louis-Jacques says no, the Dolphins should decline the 5th-year option to Tua on his rookie contract. It's nothing to do with his ability, but rather his availability, which we have discussed. Do you agree And if the Dolphins were to accept his option, it would be a $23.2 billion cap hit. So do you agree or disagree with Marcel if the Dolphins should decline that team option? The fifth-year option?
No, Marcel is way out in left field, to be honest with you. Whether you like Tua and whether he can start or not, you're paying basically what, $30 million for a quarterback over 2 years. That's peanuts. That's peanuts in this league. That's backup money, for crying out loud, nowadays. So, do you turn around and give that up because of uncertainties of his health? No, you don't give that up. You can always drop him after that. Just drop the contract if he winds up getting hurt. And I'm sure if they sign him to a 5th year, they're also going to make him sign something.
Well, if they get the 5th-year option, I think, I could understand that logic, okay? And I'm okay with that logic if you have a better option out there. But if the Dolphins say we're going to decline this option without a plan in place to have a quarterback come in that could be better than what they have with Tua, then no, you need to accept that option and then start working on plans to replace him after the 5th year. But if you don't have
Fins up, Ender.
Ender, always good to see you, man. Thank you for tuning in. If you don't have another option for quarterback that's better than what you have now, you have to accept the 5th-year option. So moving on, let's talk about this season, this current offseason for the Dolphins. The Los Angeles Rams just released Bobby Wagner, star linebacker. Dolphins have a need at linebacker, so the obvious connection is there. Okay. Then their star corner, defensive back, Jalen Ramsey, is on the market. And Pro Football Focus put out a mock trade saying, hey, look, Dolphins could get Ramsey without a first-round pick. Okay, Dolphins secondary was with the young guys, did decent enough with young guys with the injuries. Xavier Howard struggled last year. Byron Jones was nowhere to be found. So it makes sense to go after a corner. We talked about corner in the draft on our draft shows. So I'm not really, again, I want to avoid the splashes this year and really go after the lower tier, less cap impact players that just fill out the roster. So we could go into the draft with as less needs as possible, get best player available. But with a player of Jalen Ramsey's caliber, if you could end up with a player like Ramsey in a trade, Bobby Wagner in free agency, and I've seen Jordan Poyer from the Buffalo Bills name thrown out there, and I know I'm butchering that, Evan. Evan will correct me in a second. But if you could get those 3 guys for that defense, that helps immensely with what you already have. So let's just discuss Ramsey right now, Fish Tank. When you're seeing this pop out, and last night, Dave Stager of Huddle Up and Wait was saying that the Dolphins are one of the 3 teams listed for Jalen Ramsey in a potential deal. So that's something. What's your mindset on the Dolphins trading for a Jalen Ramsey? Would you like this move?
They're not going to do either trade.
Ooh, okay.
They're not going to do either. They're not enticing. To be totally honest with you, both players are starting to get old. If they did something, it would be a 1-2 year deal is what I'm trying to say, I guess. It would be a 1-2 year deal. But I think it would just cost Miami too much to bring either one of them over, to be honest with you. What Miami would pay and the performance that you might get won't match. And I'd much rather Miami go with something that's more affordable than one of those two, to be honest with you. I don't know who off the top of my head. I don't have a cornerback or a linebacker off the top of my head, but I rather them go for somebody in free agency or pick somebody up in the draft.
Yeah.
You have some players that were hurt last year. We don't even know what they're doing with Byron Jones. I'm assuming they're cutting him. I don't think they're going to keep him around, but if they do, then it wouldn't make any sense to get Ramsey either. So, but like I said, I don't know what they're doing with him.
Yeah, and I'll say I agree with you because when I saw First off, I know people are throwing out his 2020 numbers, and yes, he was one of the best, if not the best corner in 2020. The one thing I do remember is when, him falling in that Super Bowl against Joe Burrow, and if that would have been a game-winning touchdown if it wasn't for Quentin Spain giving up that sack to Burrow. I've been seeing Ramsey kind of make a downward slump. But again, I'm not for the splash signings this year. They're always nice. They're always sexy. And yes, if the Dolphins trailer for Jalen Ramsey, half the fan base, probably 80% of the fan base are going to say Super Bowl again. But it takes more than one splash signing or trade to make the Super Bowl. This team has too many holes on the roster. So yes, if you're asking me, Jalen Ramsey, Bobby, would you do Jalen Ramsey to the Dolphins? I'd say no. If it happened, I'd support it as Fish Tank would, because he would be a Dolphin, and that's great.
Definitely.
He's a great player. But I think the Dolphins have too many issues, just like when people want to talk about Tua all the time. Dolphins have way bigger issues than Tua at quarterback, and they have to address it this year. So instead of when you get that $44 million or whatever you get from restructuring contracts, you can't put it all in one player. Same thing with the running back situation. We talk about Saquon Barkley wants $15 million. Look, Dolphins don't really have the luxury of doing $15 million for one guy.
No,
I say go after
especially not a running back.
Not a running back, unless you get in. And Saquon Barkley is a talented running back. And again, if he ends up on the roster, awesome.
Not that talented.
Great. But I would rather wait till after free agency. Or after the draft, when the numbers have dropped, and then you go get one of those guys, maybe a Kareem Hunt. Bring back Mozart. He's been good when he's had the ball in his hands. Go draft a running back finally in the 6th or 7th round, because he hasn't done that in the 4th or 3rd round in a long time. You could say Kenyon Drake and whatever. But let me just say the same thing. I see Samuel Rosa in the comments with Cap for Life. They're talking about O-line and Tua. I will just say O-line played a lot better last year than they did the year before. There's still a lot of holes. They got to fix that. Even Tua has said the concussions, one was holding the ball too damn long, and the other one was when he was trying to make a play and he got twisted up and tapped his head, and whatever happened with the back and spine issue. The concussions weren't offensive line. It was holding the ball too long and not protecting yourself. So that's why he's doing the whole judo and protect himself type of thing.
Yeah,
so
but he's not going to sit there and blame other people.
He's not going to do that. Absolutely not. But everybody, you watch the tape.
I will.
He holds the ball too long.
Sometimes he does. He holds the ball, but everybody does.
So Tua and McD were not wearing Timex watches.
Hey, let me ask you something, because we never talked about it. So I'm curious. What do you think of the Ronaldo Hill hire?
I like it. I think it speaks volumes for Vic Fangio, and just, I don't think it's some kind of make or break hire, but I think this guy gave up a good defensive coordinator position for basically a demotion, which I don't want to say demotion, sounds bad, but to become to work below Vic Fangio. It speaks about the respect Fangio has, and he's trying to get guys that fit his defense. I liked it a lot. I think it speaks volumes, and I'm very intrigued about, you see now Jalen Ramsey, Bobby Wagner, Poyer, these big name defensive players being linked to the Dolphins. Well, what happened last year? There was a lot of offensive players, Armstead, Tyreek Hill, and now they're looking at the defensive side of the ball. So it'd be very interesting to see what the Dolphins do. Do they go defensive heavy in free agency, or do they go defensive heavy in the draft? Fangio has a big fingerprint on this football team, and I just think it speaks more to Fangio than anything else.
And that was the biggest thing that I've wanted with the Vic Fangio hiring, was quality people coming in. Like he said, they have to be able to teach these players. They have to be able to communicate with them so that they can pass along the information properly. So, many years ago, I taught in the Coast Guard, and that's one of the things they teach you is people learn different ways, and you have to learn how to communicate. And that was one of the biggest things that they taught us at the upper management level, was communication was key between you and the younger folks. And that's no difference there. It's the communication between him, his staff, and those younger kids that are on that team. To me, they're younger kids, but they're young adults. So any advice that they can get from somebody like a Vic or a Hill or somebody like that, I'm sure they're going to take it and run, because this defense, I see a lot of turnovers coming. I see a lot of interceptions coming with the way he sets that up, the 6-8 and all that other stuff. And he did say that he has, new things he wants to try. And after he says that in the interview with Travis Wingfield, he sits there and smiles, and you're like, yes. You're like, yeah, because something cool's coming, Everybody thinks they have it figured out because they've been doing it to other teams. But I'm pretty happy about the trade, about the hire. And Ronaldo, that two defensive coordinators, one was a head coach, but you have basically two defensive coordinators, and one's going after the passing. He's just doing the passing game
coordinator. Yeah, I think that's
passing game coordinator is what Ronaldo's doing. So it's like, come on, that's like a dream job that somebody went from defensive coordinator. All you got to do is take care of the passing. What? And I make the same money? Sure, I'll do it. That's what I would have said too.
And everybody's having higher time. I see you, everyone in the comments making great points. Samuel, Cap for Life, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. You watching Fitz Talk today on the Fitz Talk Sports Network with Fish Tank Hank and myself. Like, subscribe, share with your friends and family, as our great friend Steve Malloy would say. Team needs running back, linebacker, DB, tight end, O-line. Absolutely. And we talked about that on the draft show last night, Cap. Offensive line, I know that's going on in the comments. And isn't it just annoying that every year, Hank, we're talking offensive line? You go on and get Armstead last year, and he does, he did very well when he was on the field. But again, win is the common denominator, is the key word, because he was out. We talked about his injury concerns, and he was out. Eichenberg, in and out. Austin Jackson, out. Struggled when they were even in there. Brandon Shell, it's just a rotating thing. Now, again, with the patch-up offensive line, as Samuel was saying in the comments, they did well enough, but factors play in. Holding the ball too long, I say not knowing how to fall, in and out offensive line, it all counts for something. Miami needs to do better.
How long ago did we start this show?
This is our
2 or 3 years back now.
Yeah, I say 2 years, 2.5, I think.
Yeah. So about 2 years back, and back then I said it's been 20 years since what?
Since we had a good offensive line.
That's right. So now it's been 22 years since we've had a good offensive line, and I'm talking one that can make holes.
Yes, Evan. Yes. This I agree with.
I'm talking one that can make holes and things like that. And this team, we're always concerned about the running back. All right, great. We get a great running back, but what the hell is he going to do when there's 5 guys on him before he even reaches the line of scrimmage? It's not going to do a bit of good to have a great running back. And trust me, I'm one of those people that believes in a blue chip running back like a Saquon Barkley or somebody like that. I don't think Miami should go out and get him. They don't have enough cap space. But
we never had our starting offensive line, Samuel. Not one time during the season, maybe like the first half of the season, or the first half of the first game, we had our starting offensive line, and then people started getting hurt. It's not just all on the offensive line. And I'm telling you, our offensive line wasn't perfect, but throw it all on the offensive line is not the right way. That's an excuse at this point. Running backs, which Hank is saying, which is right.
That's an excuse.
I think it's an excuse. You just put it all on the offensive line.
I'm not putting it all
not
on
you.
Oh.
Talk about Sam in the comments, which I'm
thankful. Oh, okay.
Not you. I was just gonna talk about what you were saying. I was just gonna say you're not wrong about how if with a running back, how that would do with the offensive line when it's in and out or can't stay healthy because Chris Greer doesn't know how to sign or draft players who can.
Yeah.
But hey, look, Raheem Mostert, who was out a couple games as well, had over 800 yards as a running back behind this offensive line, and he played all year with the Dolphins. So, and we didn't have a running game, not because we couldn't run the football, because Mozart did well, was because Mike McDaniel chose not to run a ball because he became a prisoner of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle receiving. That's what he did. So,
I truly believe that between the offensive line and the running backs, there was something going on why he wasn't running the ball. There was something he was seeing why he didn't run the ball. Maybe he didn't have faith in that line making big enough holes to keep running the ball on a continuous basis. I don't know what it was, but something deterred him from doing it, because we all watched and we were all sitting there screaming, run the ball, run the ball. Everybody, and every Dolphins fan was sitting there probably screaming, run the ball at the screen or on the field. It just shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been. That was bad coaching.
And let me see here. What Evan had brought up earlier, which is true, and I'm a huge fan of this. And again, I would not be surprised if the Dolphins go defensive heavy in this draft and go late in the draft for a tight end if they do that, if they don't get one in free agency. But if you want to really help your offensive line, if you really want to protect a player who can't stay healthy like Tua, then you got to go get somebody like a Darnell Washington out of Georgia, a tight end, 6'7", 260, or almost 270, 260. Dude could catch. He could block. It's like another offensive tackle out there. You really want to help your quarterback, get someone like that who could do it all. Darnell Washington.
We do need a tight end too.
We should absolutely we do.
We do need a tight end. There's no doubt, but you got to be looking in the third round or later, because I don't think they're going to take it at 51. Well, 50.
I don't think if Darnell is there at 51, which I would be shocked if he is.
If he is, that would be crazy, but okay.
Yeah, if he's there, then I would not be surprised if they did that. But I
right.
If again, for 51, from what McDaniel has said, with Vic Fangio and the Dolphins kind of letting out with linking up with all these defensive players, I would not be surprised if the first pick is a linebacker, if the first pick is an edge rusher, if the first pick is a defensive back, kind of looking like that. I don't think a running back will be our first pick. If it's a tight end, I could see in the third round, one of our third round picks being a tight end. But you could also go in the sixth round and get the draft is deep with corner, tight end, and running back.
Yeah.
You could wait on all three of those positions and get a decent player.
That's why I think I have a feeling they're going to go and pick up free agents for the line. First off,
you got to go veteran on offensive line for sure.
I think they're going to go back to the pool once again. And I think that they're going to take another shot at linebacker in the draft at 51. So
yeah, they could. Jack Campbell, I love him.
I love Jack Campbell. Yeah, I would love to see him.
That was my mock pick. My first pick in the draft when I did my mock draft for the draft show Fish Tank was Jack Campbell. I would love that pick. Old school linebacker.
We're thinking along the same line.
Yes, we are. And Samuel, yes, it would be a big help to O-line if we had a running game. And again, I think if the Dolphins committed to having a balanced offense, that would help. But for whatever reason, McDaniel has a rookie coach, which Evan will state plain and fact, he was not a balanced coach. He focused more on passing the football when he was a run game coordinator. It was his forte, but for some reason
there had to be something going on, Bobby. There had to be something.
Maybe.
I'm telling you.
You know what? You might not be wrong because it just didn't make sense.
He didn't have faith in something. I don't know what it was, but
I don't know.
It just seems really weird that with his background and everything else, and you put it all together.
Yep.
And we're screaming as fans. We're not coaches, but we're screaming as fans. Run the damn ball. Oh, come on. That's the one thing that I don't like about rookie coaches is they make rookie mistakes.
I know it.
And he's made his. And I know he's going to go back or he has gone back and said, man, I shouldn't have done this. And then the timeouts and everything else, clock management, whatever you want to say. He just made some bad decisions along the way. And that's going to happen. Even as a experienced head coach, they still make wrong choices here and there. So, he shouldn't be pristine in his first year. He wasn't, but guess what? Now he has another head coach with him.
That's right.
Have fun with that, everybody, because guess what? That's going to help balance this kid out and help him be a better head coach. I mean, Vic has no choice but to make the offense better. You know what I mean? The offense is going to get better because the defense is going to get better. And when they're going against each other, you know what I mean? In practice, the offense is bound to get better. So
absolutely agree. Yeah, I think, you know what? I think Fish Tank hit the points. I think we're good. We're at a 30-minute mark. I want everybody to enjoy their Saturday. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and watching Fitz Talk today on the Fitz Talk Sports Network with Fish Tank, Hank, and myself. Hank, even though you had a good little spiel there, you got any final words for everybody before we close it out?
You know, no, I don't. I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in to us, and I'm glad that the subscribers have gotten up. We're up to around 760. We're obviously going for 1,000, so that would be really cool if we could hit 1,000 on YouTube.
That'd be awesome. Yes, sir. Awesome. Yeah, we got great stuff going on. We got the draft talk. We got Fish Tank. We got myself. Great Dolphins of basketball, wrestling. We got it all here. So smash that like and subscribe button. Samuel, have a great Saturday, brother. We appreciate you tuning in. John Santos, always good to see you, my friend. Cap, everybody, we appreciate you. Like, subscribe, and always, and most importantly, fins up.
You're right.